hello everybody. Thank you for joining this afternoon talk in the Science Basement. And we will start with a very short introduction of our team and our community, and then we will proceed with the talk that you came for today. So people are still joining, but let me just start with the slides. So today we came to listen to Rita Turpin, who is a doctoral researcher at the University of Helsinki, and she will talk about the immune system and what can the immune system do against breast cancer. This talk is this month for us because of the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We wanted to kind of have this afternoon talk, which we have every month, very specific to this important topic in our society. As well as this talk is part of the Year of Research-Based Knowledge 2021, and actually every talk of our 2021 series is part of this year. And as far as the Science Basement and the afternoon of the Science Basement, this is a community of scientists in training who are very interested in science communication and who consist of early career researchers that do science, but also communicate science to the public, to young people and adult people. And we really like doing that. And we also teach how to do that to other scientists. We have a lot of projects right now in the Science Basement. The afternoon talks, it's a monthly series of talk from early career scientist about his or her topic, and followed by a Q&A discussion. It was taking place online throughout the pandemic, but we are really hoping for bringing it offline in the next term. We also have a podcast where we interview scientists about their topics, and it's like a one hour thing on Spotify, on Apple Music, and everywhere on any music platform you can imagine. And if you go to our website, which is www.thesciencebasement.org, you can find the podcast series right there. We also have a project of blogging science, where we invite scientists who want to write about science or about their research experience or about anything else actually in academia to write a small blog, which we post on our websites. And we have within the blogging science project a special training, a writing workshop for scientists who want to improve their writing. And we have all other possible projects that are a little smaller, for example, art in science and others. And you can sign up for our Twitter and Instagram account and Facebook, where we advertise our events, as well as we have a LinkedIn page where we do the advertisement sometimes as well. And this is the team that has made these afternoon talks possible. And I will be very happy to welcome the team for the Q&A discussion, so that all of you can meet them and look at them. And you can actually become a part of our team if you want to, and if you're interested in this kind of science communication events and how to organize them. We have a lot of work and a lot of free spots and a lot of activities to take on. If you want to join the Science Basement for our afternoon talks or for anything else, you can contact our afternoon team email, which is right on the screen, or you can contact us on our social media channels, for example, if you're interested in other projects. If you want to give a talk as well at the afternoon of the Science Basement, feel free to do so. We are inviting you at any stage of your career. Even if you just started engaging into science, we would be very interested in listening to you. We have already scheduled a little bit of the spring series, but we still have spots left. So if you're really interested in bringing your science to general public, please contact us and we'll get back to you straight away. Great. So with that in mind, I would like to right now give the floor to Rita Turpin, who will give her talk and I will stay silent for a while and come back to you right after the talk for the discussion.
All right. Before you're totally silent, could you double check that this is starting to play correctly, Sasha?
Yes, I can see it very well now.
All right, perfect. And that was Sasha, our host, and she's really great to work with. And I'm very excited today to give you a brief overview of immunotherapy and breast cancer. So what can the immune system do against breast cancer? And if you want to follow me after this talk, you'll also find me on social media. So LinkedIn, Rita Turpin, Instagram, Rita Turpin, Twitter, Cancer Research, Re for Rita, very clever. If you'd rather follow just my research group that I'm in currently in general, also on Facebook, Clefstrom Research Group and clefstromlab.com. If you don't have time to write some of these down, that's fine. The recording of this talk will be out later on YouTube. So I'm Rita. I'm a Finnish-American dual citizen, and if you can guess, I'm a breast cancer researcher, and science communication is just an extension of my job. And some of my favorite things are my 2, almost 3 children and singing. And whatever little free time I find, I'm usually watching Korean dramas on Netflix. But maybe we just jump straight into the topic. So today's topic is made of some terms that you might be familiar with. And when you put them together, they become something a bit more unfamiliar. So we have immune, like the immune system, our body's natural defenses. And we have oncology, and that is the study of cancer. So together they make immuno-oncology. And that is kind of the study of the relationship between the immune system and cancer, as well as the development of ways to overcome cancer by using the immune system. So of course, I'm interested in things like, how does this field of immuno-oncology work? How does it help? How does this angle that I'm taking from specifically from the immune system side help? And why does it matter? Because there are many ways to study breast cancer and other cancers in general. And maybe one good reason of why this angle matters is that immunotherapy, so again, you have this immune system, and therapy is now the treatment. So these immune treatments have provided us the ability to cure previously uncurable cancers like metastatic melanoma and non-small cell lung carcinoma. And I can share a little bit of how that's done a bit later. So if we think on a very basic level, just a reminder of a healthy immune system, it has some basic jobs that it needs to do. And the first job is to recognize when something is there that isn't supposed to be there. So here we have an immune cell on the left acting as a policeman. And then on the right side, you have pathogens, so viruses, bacteria, etc. So after the immune cells recognize that, hey, you're not supposed to be there, then a healthy immune system is supposed to get rid of those pathogens. And let's also think about cancer. So how does cancer work on this very basic level? So we have on the left side kind of normal, healthy cells, and they reproduce quite steadily. They split into 2. Old cells die and new ones come in, and it's this kind of steady, out with the old, in with the new. Then you have on the right side cancer cells, and when they start to grow and reproduce, it happens very quickly. So you get a lot of growth in a short amount of time. So cancer just means these, in this level, just cells that grow very quickly. And something interesting to think about is, why doesn't the immune system get rid of cancer? And here I highlight the word always, because what we don't really want to think about is the fact that precancerous cells might appear in our bodies frequently. And a lot of the time, the immune system takes care of it. So we don't even know that anything could have happened. And that is one of the reasons why trying to, improve our healthy habits can lower our risk of cancer. However, no matter how much water you drink, how much you exercise, how many vitamins you take, you cannot eliminate the risk of cancer. So some things that could happen could be that, cancer cells don't come from spreading, flus or colds or things like that. They are in your body. And sometimes they look very similar to your normal healthy cells, at least to the immune system. So here in this picture, the immune system is saying, everything looks fine and normal, when in reality, a tumor is forming. Another thing that happens is when you have these tumors forming, they like to gobble up everything good in their environment. They want the nutrients, they take up the oxygen, and kind of the area around the tumor lacks oxygen. It becomes acidic. It's not a very nice place to be. So if now these immune cells come here to try to get rid of the cancer, as soon as they kind of step into this zone around the tumor, they might just become inactive or let's say sick, so they don't do their job anymore. So those are just some ways that a tumor can kind of overcome this immune system. So as an immuno-oncologist, kind of my job is to figure out how to make the immune system better at doing its job. And that job is to recognize when something that isn't supposed to be there is there, and also to eliminate it. So here are just some fancy terms. I won't go through all of them, but the first one: checkpoint inhibitors, adoptive cell therapies, monoclonal antibodies, cancer vaccines, and immune system modulators. If in the Q&A session you're curious about these different therapies, what it means, how they work, I will happily share. But I want to maybe focus on this checkpoint inhibitor as a way to help the immune system overcome cancer, because if you have heard of immunotherapy, it's probably through this manner. So when we get an infection, virus or bacterial, there is this traffic light that tells the immune system to go. So you have this green traffic light and you start to get rid of the virus or the bacteria, whatever it is. And when the bacteria or the virus has been eliminated, the immune system needs to stop. So the traffic light turns red. And the reason why is you don't want to have this big autoimmune reaction. You don't want to have fevers and things when you don't need it. Unfortunately, cancer tends to turn the traffic light red all the time because it does not want the immune system to find it or to eliminate it. So checkpoint inhibitors are then these treatments, these immunotherapies that turn the traffic light back green. So then the immune system can go and get rid of the cancer. And this is actually one of the ways that this metastatic melanoma is now being treated. And 50% of patients respond very well to it, which is incredible. Now, this is a bit extra detail, but if you have heard of these drugs, these compounds, these treatments, then they would fall under this category. So pembrolizumab, ipilimumab, nivolumab, and atezolizumab. So if you've heard of these, then you know what checkpoint inhibitors are, and now you know on a basic level how they work. So there are negative side effects, of course, to stimulating the immune system. A lot of them can be quite mild, so immune-related symptoms, flus, headaches, nausea. But keep in mind that if you stimulate the immune system too much, if you have everything just going crazy, it can be in a way toxic. So we don't want to just give immunotherapy to everybody. There needs to be a good reason why it's given. So maybe as a breast cancer researcher, I would like to focus on why is immunotherapy for breast cancer hard to study, because it is being studied in all kinds of cancers, and especially in blood cancers. There has been a lot of success stories, but not so many in breast cancer. And the thing is that solid cancers, so cancers that make these solid tumors, they need a different approach. One of the reasons I already shared is because sometimes around the tumor, the area is so toxic that these immune cells can get to the tumor. And then another kind of big reason why it's difficult to study breast cancer immunology is the lack of tools. And what I mean by that is that when you study something that has to do with the immune system, you need an immune system. And we do not experiment on patients. So a lot of cancer research is done on cells that are grown on a plastic plate, and there's no immune system there. Or then you can do studies in mice. And mice have been extremely useful in cancer research. And there are different angles to breast cancer, as I mentioned. And some angles, like chemotherapy, they only consider how quickly the cells grow. And fast growing cells are something that mice and humans have in common. But then when you start thinking about these immunotherapies, we have very different immune systems. Our immune systems don't have always the same kind of matching like counterparts. And what that means is that this happens more often than not, is that you treat mice with these immunotherapies and hooray, a mouse is cured and cancer-free. But then when these new treatments go to humans in human trials, there's no effect. And kind of what we can't measure is how often does a new promising treatment not work in mouse, but it could have worked in humans. And this we can't really test, because you can't just go try some new treatments in humans. You have to go through this pipeline. So go through first, show in mouse that it's safe, and then test in humans. So one of the ways that I'm personally trying to overcome that is I'm extremely grateful for the network that we have here in the University of Helsinki and the Helsinki University Hospital, where I am able to get actual live breast tissue from the breast cancer patients right after surgery. And I take those tumors to the lab where I work. And, you know, this mass of tissue is not, again, a whole human. You don't have the whole immune system there, but you do have a little bit more. So you have the tumor, and then you have a bit of the tissue around it. And in this tissue, you have immune cells. So at least I can study for these patients how different treatments that I'm trying affect actual human tumor material. And if we get really good leads there, it might be easier to transition than to like bigger human trials with the whole immune system present. And again, studying the immune system and cancer is difficult in general because we all have a different starting point. We all respond differently to colds, flus, vaccines. And then to find, it's really difficult then to find one kind of immunotherapy, immune treatment that would work for everyone. So we are still trying to find ways of how to identify which patients would benefit from which treatments. And again, immunotherapy, when they work, they really work. And if you don't need it, you don't want to, of course, give anyone any side effects that may be unpleasant. So that is another big topic in the field. So for breast cancer, kind of the outlook, the way the things that I see in the future would be like the possibility to offer treatments for untreatable breast cancers. So the ones that currently don't have any kind of treatment options, or then for the patients who have been treated, but then they start to not respond to the treatment anymore and run out of options. And it doesn't have to be all about finding new cures or treatments. It can be about improving the existing ones. So if someone is receiving, for example, a toxic treatment like chemotherapy, can we give a little bit less chemotherapy and just a little bit of an immunotherapy, and together they would give this same amount of effectiveness? So you still get rid of the cancer, but you don't get so many side effects. Alternatively, we can potentially enhance existing treatments. So kind of the same idea as the second point. So you can give chemotherapy and immunotherapy, but then there is the chance that the results last longer, for example, or then it's just in general a better response. So I have a lot that I can talk about, but I decided in this talk to actually save most of the time for you guys and for the Q&A. And maybe I can bring up some topics as well to help the discussion. But I would like to thank some people. So I put my parents here into the corner. In the middle, I have my thesis committee members, Maya Holman and Vincenzo Cerullo. So they are advising my PhD on the side, along with my research group supervisors, Juha Klefström and Jeroen Pauwels. Then I want to thank some of my lab members that are very much involved in some of the work that I'm hoping to publish, as well as funders. And I would like to thank the graduate school that provides my salary, and a special thanks to ghostx.co. So that is a ghostwriting company, and it's my husband's company, but he put a lot of effort into making sure that my presentation is something a bit more understandable for everyone. So thank you to my husband, Ryan.